If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the like button. Your support helps us bring you more unforgettable real stories. In today's video, the strangest part of my story is that everything began with a cup of coffee, not an argument, not a dramatic discovery, not even a suspicious message, just coffee. It was a Tuesday morning, one of those gentle autumn mornings where sunlight doesn't burst into the room. It slowly spills across it. The kind of light that makes ordinary things look warmer than they really are. The kitchen smelled like roasted beans and cinnamon. I was standing at the counter grinding coffee, the machine humming in that familiar, comforting way. A sound that had become part of our marriage soundtrack. Mark sat at the table scrolling through his tablet. His reading glasses rested halfway down his nose, exactly like they always did when he read the news. We had been married for 12 years. 12 predictable, peaceful, stable years. Our mornings were a routine we could perform half asleep. And yet I knew every movement by heart. He didn't look up. "Late meeting tonight?" he asked casually. "Just the usual," I replied, maybe a little too quickly. "I might run a few errands after. Beat the weekend crowd." He nodded and lifted the mug I set in front of him. "Sounds good, honey. Don't work too hard." That was it. No suspicion. No hesitation. Just trust. At the time, it felt like nothing. But looking back now, that was the exact moment the first domino fell. I remember watching him as he sipped his coffee. Really watching him. The slight thinning of his hair. The conservative blue tie he wore almost every Tuesday. The calmness of a man whose entire world existed safely inside routine. Our suburban home, his architecture firm. The same sports channel every evening. He looked steady. Safe. And strangely, that safety hurt me. Because inside, I felt like I was living an entirely different life. His name was Liam. He worked in the graphic design department at my office. Where Mark was solid oak, dependable and unmoving, Liam was flowing water. Easy laughter, endless creativity, and attention that felt almost electric. He looked at me like I was interesting again. Not responsible. Not reliable. Not predictable. Interesting. Our affair didn't start with passion. It started quietly. Long lunches became longer conversations. Work drinks became late evenings. Late evenings became afternoons I had to invent excuses for. Eventually, hotel rooms entered the story. But it wasn't really about the physical side. It was about feeling alive again. Feeling seen. I convinced myself I wasn't hurting anyone. Mark was always busy. Blueprints, deadlines, game highlights. Our marriage had slowly transformed into a well-run partnership. Bills paid. Groceries bought. Weekends scheduled. Liam made me feel like a woman. Mark made me feel like a role. The guilt never screamed. It hummed. Constantly. Low and quiet. Like a distant appliance you can't turn off. Ironically, I became a better wife. I cooked Mark's favorite meals more often. I asked about his projects in detail. I listened intensely, almost desperately. It was my way of balancing something I knew couldn't actually be balanced. Every morning he kissed me goodbye with complete trust. And sometimes I caught him looking at me with soft affection. Every time that happened, I had to look away. The first crack appeared 4 months later. I came home after seeing Liam. I had my routine perfected. Different perfume in my bag, paid in cash, everything carefully separated. When I entered the bedroom, Mark was sitting on the edge of the bed. He held one of my earrings. A small silver stud. "I found this in the car," he said calmly. "Passenger seat." My chest tightened instantly. I had worn those with Liam. I never wore jewelry with him. Except that day. I forced a small laugh. Oh, I must have dropped it this morning. I reached for it, but my hand felt strangely cold. He placed it in my palm. His fingers brushed mine. Warm. Normal. But his eyes, for just 1 second, they held something I couldn't read. Then it vanished. "You should be more careful," he said gently. "They were a gift." That moment stayed with me. Tiny. Insignificant. But it felt like a warning I didn't understand yet. After that, small things started happening. My favorite lipstick, the one I only wore to see Liam, disappeared. I searched my purse, Drawers, bathroom, everywhere. Gone. Mark even helped me look, concerned and patient. A week later, it reappeared. Exactly where I had checked first, the bottom of my handbag. I blamed stress. I wanted to blame stress. Then came the emails. Reservation confirmations for restaurants I never booked. A weekend cabin getaway confirmation under my name. When I called to cancel, they said the bookings came from my email. I changed my password immediately. Mark shook his head sympathetically. The world is full of weirdos, Julia. Just be careful. His tone was warm, comforting, normal, too normal. The most unsettling moment came on a Saturday. Mark was out playing golf. I was home alone trying to relax. The doorbell rang. A delivery man stood holding a massive bouquet of white lilies. My heart jumped into my throat. Liam knew they were my favorite. This was reckless. Dangerous. There was no card. My hands shook as I texted him. Did you send flowers? You can't do that. His reply came instantly. What? No. Of course not. I stood there staring at them. They looked innocent, but felt like an accusation. Later, Mark came home. He immediately noticed them. Wow, beautiful, he said, smelling them. Who sent them? I don't know. He smiled slowly. A secret admirer. They suit you. He kissed my forehead and walked upstairs. But the look in his eyes, it wasn't jealousy. It was recognition. And that terrified me. After that, everything changed. Even with Liam, I couldn't relax anymore. I was distracted, distant. You're not here anymore, he told me one evening. You're somewhere else. He was right. I was back in my own house, trying to solve a puzzle I didn't remember starting. Then came the night that shattered everything. I told Mark I had a work conference, full-day event, dinner afterward. A lie. Liam and I planned 24 hours together at a hotel far from our usual place. For a few hours, I almost felt normal again. Then at 10 p.m., my phone buzzed. A message from Mark. Hope the conference is going well. You left your presentation notes on the kitchen counter. Want me to scan them? My stomach dropped. I never left notes. And I hadn't prepared any, because the conference didn't exist. No, it's okay. I typed quickly. I have them on my laptop. He replied. Are you sure? There's a section highlighted in pink about quarterly projections. I froze. I worked in nonprofit marketing. I had never written anything about quarterly projections. He wasn't mistaken. He was testing me. Must be yours, I answered. Not mine. A long pause. Then, you're right. My mistake. Have a good night. I love you. My hands were shaking. In that moment I understood. He knew. The earring. The lipstick. The emails. The flowers. None of it was random. My husband, the calm, predictable architect, had been dismantling my life piece by piece. Quietly, carefully, patiently. The hunter had become the hunted. And I had just realized. I was the prey.